All right, men's hoodies and sweatshirts above $100. We're going to go to solds and select sort Z to A. We're going to go to sell through and we're going to select 40% below. We're looking for volume. All right, Polo Ralph Lauren. Polo Ralph Lauren is a gigantic brand. You're looking for specific stuff that sells above $100, sells really fast. There's only a 14% sell-through rate, 446 listed, 3,000 sold. All right. Which specific one are we on? We're on Polo Ralph Lauren or what? I think it was Polo Ralph Lauren. All right. You can go to brand. I found it here. Select Polo Ralph Lauren. Think about it. There we go. We have 410 solds. You can find stuff like Polar Bear, Ralph Lauren 67. These are just grails right here at the moment. Let's do an easy keyword. Let's just do Polar Bear. Honestly, just bear. That is 72 solds, 438 listed. So we're gonna have to try and whittle it down. Actually not seeing a lot of the Polar Bear stuff. Oh, we removed bear. Sorry about that. All right. Yeah, if you put a minus sign in front of a word, it will actually remove it from the search category. Let's get back to men's hoodies and sweatshirts. 456. 456 solds. That is Grateful Dead. That's not very common. All right. We're at 456 solds. And 2,200 listed. Let's reselect Polo Ralph Lauren. Let's talk about the spreadsheet a little bit. I made the MrMarketMaster spreadsheet because I needed a personal study guide. I am a clothing reseller by trade. I've done it for years, and I needed something better for myself to actually learn the market better. Research is really difficult to do if you don't know what you're doing specifically already, and I needed something to just help me do it. So I made something that actually just told me what sell-through is better. Sell-through is the most important metric within reselling, as far as like clothing and stuff like that. If you're trying to sell stuff that sells for $50,000, you might be able to wait a few years. But if you're selling stuff that costs maybe $300, $200, $100, you want those to sell quickly. All right. When you are doing your research, you always want to be doing your filters and adding filters and taking off filters on the sold screen. Oh, I clicked the wrong button. eBay's finicky. Make sure your filters are actually correct. So Polo Bear is pretty good just in general, but there's so much of it and people really do try to oversell it that it just gets tedious when you find it. You end up like, this is Polo Bear, but people might like the baseball Polo Bears a lot better. It's just finding Polo Bear in general doesn't necessarily mean you found a good one. Honestly, this one is pretty common. Or common as being a good one. The Dodgers, just baseball and sports in general. All right, so there's 66 solds, 298 listed. Let's try hoodies. 35 solds. And 132 listed, so it's not quite good enough on the hoodies. Sweatshirts is not going to be any better either. So instead of going for hoodies or sweatshirts, let's try different filters. We'll try doing size and stuff like that. All right, let's do large and XL. We might add in medium. Oversize and undersize is usually not going to help when you're trying to get stuff sold. So let's see, 12, 7, 19, we're 29. That's 29 solds and 77 listed. That's about 50% sell through above $100. What is that? Yeah, it's about 40%. Let's go to color. Let's try color. Gray. Gray and green. We'll try gray first. So there's 10 sold in gray and 16 listed. That's 66% sell-through rate. It's pretty good. Oh, these are listed still. Let's see if there's something trending within the solds, like something specific. All right, I already see USA. USA, USA, USA. All right, it is let's use the keyword USA. All right, we dropped all our filters, but we're still on the solds. Let's go to pre-owned Polo Ralph Lauren. Just waiting on the website. For whatever reason, Polo Ralph Lauren, within Polo Ralph Lauren, just the word USA or just any American flags does seem to sell much better than just the average stuff. So that's 16 solds, 48 listed. We did drop a lot of our filters and may have to do size and stuff like that. All right, let's get back to solds. We are also on gray. We were on gray. All right, let's do size first. All right, mediums. There's actually 5 solds in extra large. We'll go with the solds. We'll ignore the large and double XL for now. But that looks like 13 total. And 20 listed. All right. Let's get rid of size and we'll go for the color gray. All right, that's 48 listeds. We're already trying for the color gray, so we know we're doing that. Gray was selling higher last time. It's just easier to click it right there. All right, so that's 16 listed. 11 solds. And that is specifically for the Polar Bear USA. Yeah. All right. Let's come off of solds. Just check it one more time. Yep. That is about that. That's maybe a 70% sell-through rate above $100. Just for kicks, let's drop it down to maybe $80. And let's put a price cap on it. Some people just want too much money for this stuff. Let's say $300 is a price cap. That's 27 results for, I think we're still unlisted. 27. When you're comparing numbers and stuff like that on the see all page, you want to definitely be on the sold listings because you might be looking at the wrong information. You might see a bunch of stuff that's listed and you think that's the solds, but you're just ended up chasing your tail. All right, that's 18 solds. I think that was actually a lot. There were actually a lot more. Seems like people might be underselling it. 27 listed, 18 sold. Let's actually raise that price again. If the sell-through goes up as the price rises, that means people do not want to underpay for this stuff. They want the good stuff and they want to pay the good money because they want the right one. All right, 16 listed. 12 solds. All right, this is the one you were looking for. I think you might call that like a USA varsity sweater. No, it's a sweatshirt. This one's playing hockey. Let's see. Hockey. That one's just a sweater up at the top. That one's soccer. The hockey one. Seems like the hockey one sells most common. All right. Let's add one more keyword. Let's add hockey. Yeah, USA Hockey Bear. All right, that's 14 solds and 11 listed. All right, that's already at 100% sell-through above. So USA Hockey Bear, let's actually take the price cap off and see if we sell more. Just waiting on the website. All right, so we're already 100% sell-through. We can check to see if anybody's actually getting this stuff sold above $300. We need to go back to pre-owned though. Working on it. Stuck with the website. So that's 6 listed, over $100. And 11 sold. So we are over 100% sell-through. That's about 200% sell-through. And that is a pretty high price ceiling. Some people get $218 for this stuff, 124, 150. So it doesn't go to the sky, but it does go up pretty high. All right. The Hockey Bear.